Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Rabbi Leader. Ah! That's Rabbi Leader. He just got back from England. You saw the side, you know him with the tefillin. We got it all. Howard Appel, Rebelli. Last night we celebrated the wedding of my daughter, Esther Appel of West Hampton, to Ben Lazar of East Brunswick, New Jersey. I'm very proud to say they've been doing the daf since tiniest, and I haven't missed a day of learning with you. Learning the daf has been a life changer for me. And by seeing my enthusiasm for learning through MDY, my new son-in-law has joined MDY. This was a requirement for joining our family. Please give a shout out to our cousin Donnie Fine, whose presence was dearly missed at the wedding. Attaches a picture of some of the MDY West Hampton group that attended the wedding. Keep daffing, Howard Appel. Where's Donnie? That's how you pronounce his name? Appel? Appel. Alan Kahan. First meetup in Siyum, Great Neck. Rabbi, so listen to this. This is Great Neck. Hi, Rebelli. I've been meaning to send you an email since our first Siyum and meetup as a group in the Great Neck. Baruch Hashem, we had a great Siyum with over 20 guys. I'm going to show you some pictures. Now, our Chabura is growing. The Great Neck Retention Group. You hear about this? The Retention Group. There's still something called the Retention Group. Start off slow. That's what happens. Starts off slow. Yet before our Siyum, we had about 5-6 guys of the 10-15 consistently voting on our polls, meaning checking in that they did the daf. Baruch Hashem, we had a really nice turnout for the Siyum, thanks to Jared who sponsored as well. And we were able to recruit another 5 guys for Horayos. Baruch Hashem, we now have a nice minion voting in our daily polls. Just wanted to thank you for giving me the opportunity to help you bring more Torah and really pushing and standing behind the Retention Group initiative. Halavai, everybody should. It's very important, the initiative. So giving me a boost in chizuk and made sure I stayed on top of my daf, since I have a group behind me now. Hope we can make a little time to show our pictures, be a chizuk for our group. Thank you. My younger son was hoping to be on YouTube. Where's the young? Okay, thanks so much. Your Talmud, Alan Kahan, Great Neck, Ambassador. Here we go. Beautiful. What a chabura. And here they are at the Siyum. Our boys at the Shasathon in, I guess, England somewhere. Here's a Yid cheating, doing the daf with the shir. There's a Siyum of Seder Nezikin in Toronto. There are hundreds of people in Toronto, he says. Hundreds of people in Toronto who learn the daf with MDY. However, most do not usually attend the Siyumim. That is the case. Rabbi Isai, give other people chizuk. Sometimes you're a little shy. Come out of your comfort zone. Go be mechazik, because the more you show up, the more people see that's important, and they also do it. We want to encourage everyone to join together for the Grand Siyum on Seder Nezik and Tiskal Mitzvahs Ari Blau. Just wanted to share a quick story how daf has affected our family over the summer. I was able to watch the beginning of each year together with my 6-year-old daughter each day over breakfast. It became so much in the morning ritual that she would ask me to watch the daf with her when I hadn't started yet. She started asking me by bedtime if I watched the daf that day. This past week, my daughter started first grade. When my wife was driving her to school, she noticed how nervous my daughter was. My wife started to play the daf, and she started calming down. A few minutes later, my wife asked her if she would like to change to a story tape, but my daughter replied that she wanted to keep listening to the daf. Hashem Temima, Meshivas Nofesh. Thank you for all that you do. Beryl Steinerman in Clifton, New Jersey. Rabbi, I'll tell you a quick story. The best story that I heard over the Shabbaton here in Eretz Yisrael. The Olam heard it live from Yoni Tzur. He's a photographer. He said that he bumped into a person that he did their wedding years before. And it was a couple that wasn't religious, but they came from religious families. And the guy tells him, the chassan, who wasn't Shomer Torah, he tells him, I want to tell you a story. I was taking my daughter, my kid, to Gan, 3-year-old, and the kid says, I want to watch some TV on the iPad, some show. So he says, I'm going to teach this kid a lesson. So he puts on a Torah shir. It just happened to be MDY. And he figured that will, like, the kid will never ask for the iPad again. The next day, the kid says, I want to watch what you showed me yesterday. So Torah again. Kids are day after day, and then eventually this guy started watching the shir with his son. They had a kviyas. The kid wanted to watch MDY. He's 3 years old. Makes sense. So he's watching the daf with his son, and he became a Baal Tshuva. He says, I want you to know. And the reason he told it to him, he says, because it was in his status. He used to push it in status. He says, okay, he clicked on, that was the one Torah shir he knew about, so he clicked the status. So now the parents are Bali Tshuva. This is Shlomi Klein's wedding. Shlomi Klein. Those guys know how to party, I'm telling you. All right. The Masechta is sponsored by David Salomon, dedicated memory of Moiri, Reb Shmuel Baruch ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiv, Zechron Levrach, Anonymous, Hatzlach Baruch Nitzvi Begash, B'Zechus Achir B'Nei Yisrael, Joel Gedalius, Lina Nishmas, my father Jack Gedalius, co-sponsors, Anonymous from London, Hatzlach in business. Weekly, Anonymous, Zechut, Rufu Shlema for Shlomo ben Yom and Halevi ben Rivka, no better way to ask for it, Baruch Hashem. TCS, monthly sponsors, TCS Israel, powered by Talk and Save Anonymous, Rufu Shlema, Sarah Bat Madaram, and Shir Bat Sarah. Aaron Kessler, in honor of the marriage of my son and my daughter, am I relocating to Eden Gardens in Orlando, Florida? Anonymous from London. Hatzlacha b'parnasa. Daily sponsors Anonymous. L'Refuas Sarah Nechama Bas Malka Drezel that is having major surgery today. You know, I have to say, we have to mention that there's tremendous tragedies yesterday. 4 Chayalim were killed. 6 citizens were killed. Many. Asar Harugi Malchus. That's what he says. Many injured. There's a Rosh Hashiva that got a bullet. I don't know how many. And so we'll learn the Schusam and the Ilu Nishmasam. The Dubovik family of Staten Island, Beitar, Chicago, Far Rockaway, and Lakewood. Zeich Nishmas Yitzchok ben Yaakov Dubovik on a Shloishim is Neshama having Aliyah in the Schus of Daf Yomi. Eli Hostrali. Eli Ostrali. Thank you. I thought it's the last name. In gratitude of our daughter's birth, may she grow up the Torah, the Chuppah, and Ma'asim Tovim. There was I don't remember who it was. A couple comes over to me at the Shabbaton. They have an 18-year-old daughter, and they say, our daughter only wants to marry an MDYer. Someone from MDY. MS. Ezrael, thank you Hashem for keeping my family healthy. Anonymous, in honor of my husband's 60th birthday. Rabbi Isai, listen to this. Anonymous. In honor of my husband's 60th birthday and 35th wedding anniversary and his 15,300th day of doing Daf Yomi. 15,300th day of doing Daf Yomi. She's counting every day. Do the math. 2711 divided by 15.3. Huh? 6. Wow. MDYR, monthly or for Shlema?
42 years.
42 years. So he did it since he's 19. Monthly, Refuah Shlema for Yonatan Eitan ben B'Sheva Bracha, Refuah Shlema Mordechai ben Esther, Refuah Ayelet Daniel Zev ben Ayelet Esther. Rabbi says starting brand new daf, easy daf today. Mishnah, Daf Zayin Amud Beis. Ein chayovim elo al helam dover im shigigas maisa. We are talking about. Oh, I just wanted to show you. I got in. It was a little bit late, but I guess we can use it in different times. This is the 2 types of fat. One is on the dakin, on the intestines, the small intestines, and the other is the fat on the keva. Those are the two fat.
The intestines called omentum.
Omentum. But we call it chaylev ala dakim, chaylev shel keva. We spoke about it, but we didn't. Actually, we'll have it today as well. Maybe we could pop in. So yesterday we had this concept called helam davar im shigigas chatos. Helam davar is when the bezdin rules incorrectly, and then the nation goes ahead and they do what they rule. Here's the chaylev on the table. Mamish. You want to see what the chaylev looks like? Here's the chaylev on the table. Give out. Now fit right into the shir. So, in order to be chayiv a par helam davar, this bull, how many bulls do we know about? We know the bull of the bezdin, make a mistake, par helam davar. We know the bull of the kohen gadol and the bull of nasi. And chayavim el helam davar im shigas ma'isa. In order to bring a par helam davar, it's not a typical shogeg that a person made a mistake between chaylev and truma and chaylev. First, you need a ruling. And the Mishnah says, V'cheina Moshiach. And the same applies to Kohen Gadol. The what? First he makes a ruling. He says, I'm allowed to do X, Y, Z. And he goes ahead and he does it. But if he made a mistake, if a Kohen Gadol, the one that does the Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash, on Yom Kippur, if he by mistake, his wife gave him chaylev instead of shuman and he ate it, does he bring a carbon? No, he doesn't bring any carbon. There's no shaygig by a kohen gadol. The only shaygig he has is when there's helam davar. First he has to paskin. I'm allowed to eat chaylev, and then he goes and eats chaylev. That's when he brings a carbon. V'chein hamashiach. Same thing applies to the kohen gadol. V'loy ba'avodas kechavim ein chayavim elo al helam davar m'shigas ma'isa. The same thing when it comes to avodah zara. The only time you bring a carbon, the bezin brings a carbon, is when they paskin that this type of avodah zara, this type of shtachava, or being mishtachava, bowing to the markulas or the par is mutter, then you bring a carbon. What's missing from this line, Rabbi Yisai? What do we have at the first line of the Mishnah? V'chein Mashiach is missing. The first line of the Mishnah, V'chein Mashiach. How come the second part of the Mishnah, that when a kohen gadol makes a mistake in avodah zara, he has to first rule and then do? It's not brought there. We're going to have to see pshat. Says Gemara Menolan, where do we know this idea of helem, dover, and shigigas maisa? The Torah Rabbanan yishgu. Here, so if you look at this, it's already in here. There's two words here, yishgu, make a mistake. And it also says, v'nelam dover. It was missing. They forgot something. Yishgu yochel yu chayav shigas mais. Shigas mais is a typical shaygig. You made a mistake, so you bring a carbon. No, it's not enough. Talmud Lomer yishgu v'nelam dover goes together in the pasuk. That the shaygig was because v'nelam dover, because the bezdin made a mistake. When the bezdin makes a boo boo, then the Klal Yisrael does the avera. Then you bring a parallel dover. Simple enough. Yes, the rest of the sugi is like that. Easy stuff. And the same thing applies to the kohen gadol. And a lot of things will be repetitive. This is something we had yesterday. We're going to have it again. In the pasuk of kohen gadol, it mentions ha'am, Klal Yisrael. What's the connection? The connection is Harei Mashiach Yitzibur. Kohen gadol is like Klal Yisrael. So just like Klal Yisrael, in order to be chayav a parallel and davar, they need a ruling and then they do it. So to the kohen gadol, which is interesting, super interesting, he makes his own ruling and then he does it. The same thing applies to avodah zara. First you need a ruling, then you do. How do we know? The Tanna Rabbana. Avodah zara has its own karbanas, a par and a soyer. So I think avodah zara is more chomer. And therefore, when Klal Yisrael goes ahead and does avodah zara by mistake, forget the bezdin, no ruling. They go ahead and they jump into avodah zara. How do you do avodah zara by mistake? Super interesting. So then it's mutter. Then it's mutter. They didn't know it's also it's mutter.
You threw stones at the markulas. You didn't realize that's the way you're moving it.
The what?
You threw stones at the markulas.
That's the pshat. I can see that you did the daf before, but the Givaldik.
Wait, it's about 5 times. You're fired.
I need guys that didn't learn before. You're perfect. Actually, you're not perfect. We're waiting for the Shabbos. I got a bunch of emails. I got some apologies. I got some yelling. Not yelling. I says, listen, you weren't down the kafschos. I couldn't. My wife is not feeling well. Okay, fine. At least some people cared. They wrote me. Where am I? Oh, yeah, so they say that the pshat is he wanted to do avodah zara, but he thought that the way you perform avodah zara with pa'ar is you throw a stone at it. He didn't realize you relieve yourself to it, or vice versa. That's one pshat they say. I would think that if somebody did something like that, he threw a stone at pa'ar, or he relieved himself to miraculous, he'd be chayav a carbon right away. We learn from the tzibur malahalon chayav melahem davar mshigas ma'isa. Just like by parallel and davar, first the bezin has to rule. Of kanin chayav melahem davar mshigas ma'isa. So by avodah zara, so you need a ruling, and then avodah zara. V'il mashiach by avodah zikchavim like katani. Now, if you pay attention, the Mishnah doesn't mention anything about a kohen gadol when it comes to avodah zara. Masnisa mani. So now we have to find someone who holds by avodah zara, the kohen gadol, without ruling, just performing avodah zara by mistake, throwing a stone at pa'ar, he would have to bring a carbon. Who is this person? Mani Rebbe. This is the Havamina. We're going to go away from this. The Sanya Mashiach, in other words, we're going to say that no, a Kohen Gadol also needs to rule and then perform. But here we have a mandama that says, Mamish Mefurish, the Sanya Mashiach B'Avedis Kechavim, Kohen Gadol, when it comes to Avodah Zarah, Rabbi Yomer, B'Shigigas Maisa. These are confusing words, but they mean very simple stuff. B'Shigigas Maisa means B'Shoigig. Without what? Without a Bezdin. Now, if I want to say Bezdin plus a Shoigig, what do I say? Helem Davar. Behelem Davar. No. First you need Bezdin to rule incorrectly, and then the individual does it, the Kohen Gadol does it. B'Shavin Shebesira, but both Chachamim and Rebbe agree that there's no bull over here, it's a goat. B'Shavin She'im Mevi Hashem Taloi, and this Kohen Gadol does not bring an Hashem Taloi. What's an Hashem Taloi? This hanging guy, this carbon that, I'm not sure if I did Avodah Zarah. I'm not sure that there's no such thing as Hashem Taloi in this case. Says the Gemara V'Tizbra. Now, are you really telling me that Rebbe is in this Mishnah? That there's actually, the Mishnah comes to exclude a Kohen Gadol from ruling and then worshiping? V'Tizbra. Why would I say something like that? Take a look at the next Mishnah on Daf Ches Amud Aleph towards the top of Daf Ches. It's on the next page. We're going to get this, so we can do a little Chazara, and we know this Mishnah anyway. I said in the first words of the Masechta, the whole Parahel Davar only occurs when it's a very severe Aveira, where there's chorus when you do B'mezid, and there's a carbon when you do B'shagi. And it says, V'chein HaMashiach. And what does it say a second later? And what's missing? Kohen Gadol. And over here, we have to say the Kohen Gadol is also something that you need Hayra. Here, so whatever that Mishnah says, our Mishnah says. Whatever it means, our Mishnah means. But this is okay, so it doesn't mention Kohen Gadol, but it means a Kohen Gadol over there. So too in our Mishnah, it talks about the first case of the tzibur, of the bezdin. The same will apply to Kohen Gadol. My time of the Rebbe. But why does Rebbe say a Kohen Gadol doesn't need to rule and he could just do Avodah Zarah by mistake and has to bring a carbon? There's a lot of words of shogig here. Now, so the Gemara learns here, look at the pasuk, v'chibar kohen ala nefesh. Nefesh is Kohen Gadol. Hashigeges is referring to the nasi. And what does it say? Becheta b'shgaga. Hanefesh ze Moshiach, hashigeges ze nasi. Becheta b'shgaga. What does that refer? So we have machlokes what the words becheta b'shgaga means. Rabbi Yisrael chet ze b'shgaga yehei. All you need is that this Aveira was done b'shaygig. No ruling, pure shaygig, regular shaygig. And the Kohen Gadol must bring a carbon. Rabban Tzavri, no. Mishchat tasib b'shgaga. A person that typically, when he does an Aveira, has to bring a carbon. This Kohen Gadol, no matter what, when he's a Kohen Gadol and he does Aveiras b'shaygig, he's Mechal Shabbos b'shaygig, he does not bring a carbon. He needs to have a ruling, then he does. B'shavin, and Rebbe and Chacham agree, Shebesira kiyachid, you just bring a goat and not a bull. Minalan damakra, v'im nefesh achas. There's one soul, one nefesh. Check this out. It says v'nefesh. What did I learn from this? I learned from this achas. Everybody is the same, whether you're Nasi, the king, whether you're a yachid, or whether you're the Mashiach, or the Kohen Gadol. Echad yachid, ve'echad Nasi. Bechad Mashiach, Kulam, Klal, Nefesh, Achas, Hein. V'shavin, Daf Ches Amud Aleph. V'shavin Shein maybe Hashem Talui. Rebbe and Chacham both agree that the Kohen Gadol does not bring Asham if he doesn't know for sure that he did the Aveira. Talui means he'll just hang there. And Hashem will know if he did that very good. If not, you don't bring it. Rebbe Savar Misha called Chetoy B'Ishgaga. We said before, Chazara, easy stuff. Rebbe said it has to be something that this person, when he does it inadvertently, he has to bring a carbon. He has to say call Chetoy B'Ishgaga. This guy this Kohen Gadol, he doesn't bring a carbon b'shagig. He only brings a carbon when he paskins the wrong way. As the Gemara Midi Kolksiv, does it say everything? Where does it say? You're stuck in a word kol every single time. Yes, it does mean every time. Why? There's a double lashon here. Double lashon. So from there it means every single time there has to be a shagig that you bring a carbon, and this Kohen Gadol does not bring a carbon for shagig. And then they skip these lines, Givaldic, Horayos style. I'll just say, just in case somebody wants me to say, Rabbanan. Rabbanan say no. What the pasuk means, when the person does an aveira, in other words, same thing as Rebbe, but more. According to Rabbanan, it's much easier because they hold there's never a time. Rebbe's the one that holds the Kohen Gadol when it comes to Avodah Zarah doesn't need a ruling from the Bezin. Chacham say no matter what, the Kohen Gadol never brings a carbon with his. He always needs his own ruling. There's no difference according to Chacham. The only time a Kohen Gadol brings a carbon is when you have Helam Davar. What's Helam Davar? Bezin Paskin, or he himself Paskin, and then he does it. He does the Maisa, and then that's when he brings a carbon. Great. We're holding by the Mishnah. Daf Ches. Shalom Aleichem. This guy next to you. What's your name? You're this guy's brother?
Yeah.
Older? Younger?
Older.
How was he as a child? He was also normal back then? Right? You straightened him out. So he wasn't always normal. Shmak. Okay. Don't tell me you're Yirmi's friend also. Yirmi Gold. You don't even know what that is.
I know.
You know, okay.
I
You couldn't straighten him out. Very good, very good. I like you, we like you. Stick around there. Where do you live? Where do you live?
In the Golan.
Oh, really? Wow. Cool. Yeah, Shabbaton. That's it. Okay. Zok the Mishnah. Ein bezdin chayovim ad sheyoru b'dovish is doni kardish shigod zechatos. We know this already. The whole idea of parallel davar, the bezdin brings a carbon, is when it's a severe avera, something that if you do it deliberately you get kares, and if you do it inadvertently you have to bring a carbon. V'chein Mashiach, the same thing applies. The par that the Kohen Gadol brings is only on those type of averas. And also when it comes to Avodah Zarah, it has to be something that it's kares if you do it deliberately, and not, and then if you do it by mistake, you bring a chatas, and not something that is no kares. What's a good example of something you get kares for Avodah Zarah? What kind of Avodah Zarah do you get kares for? Anybody remember?
5 things.
Those who know can't answer. Those who think they know. Huh? Moilach. Okay. What else? What thing is not kares? What Avodah Zarah is not kares? Levi, you do chazara. What is not kares? So it's interesting. If they ever re-invite me to, I guess I'm not invited anymore, to Shasi, I'll ask them, what's a halacha in Avodah Zarah that's not mentioned in Masechtas Avodah Zarah? I couldn't find it there. So this halacha is Avodah Zarah that's not a kares. It's not a kares. Gifuf v'nishuk, hugging and kissing in Avodah Zarah. That was brought down in Sanhedrin. So this is the list, not this one. This one. Shchita, sreifa, nisuch yayin, pouring wine on an Avodah Zarah. Shtachava, bowing to it. That is the right. That's kares. The ones that are also no kares are gifuf v'nishuk. Okay. Says Gemara Minalan. How do I know that it has to be kares and chatos? The Sanya Rebbe Yomer Nemer Kan Oleh, V'Nemer La'alon Oleh. It says by us, by parallel and David, it says the word Oleh. It also says by 2 sisters that you're not allowed to marry 2 sisters. It says Oleh here. V'isha l'choysa l'sikach litzor l'galis ervas Oleh. Should have highlighted it. Gary, I don't know if you can. And then right afterwards in Pasuk Chav Tes it says V'nicher zu anafashis. So marrying 2 sisters is a kares, by mistake is a chatas. So to by us, in the idea of Helam Davar, parallel Davar, you need kares and chatas. Now, I just want you to pay attention here. We start off with the word alel. Okay? So, I'll just show it to you here. The Gemara is really, it's later, this Gemara. We're starting with alel. And now we're trying to build on top of alel. Once we have alel, once I know that there's a concept called Zdorei Karis, B'Shigiyot Sechatos, so now I'm going to move forward. I'm going to say, now I have to know Kohen Mashiach, I have to know a Nasi, I have to know a Yochid. How to know all these things? I got the Tzibur, but what about where does it say Kohen Gadol? Oh, I know the Kohen Gadol because it says Ashkan Tzibur Mashiach Menol Ashkan Sam Ari Mashiach Tzibur. Here, okay, so I'm going to add. I don't know what this is. I have no idea. What?
What's the limud?
Ashkan in the pasuk of a Kohen Gadol. This is like the fifth time, but we got to explain it. In the pasuk of Kohen Gadol, it mentions the word Ha'am, the nation. So if we know this halacha by the nation, by Klal Yisrael, that the similar, it has to be Karas and Chazas, I know the same thing by Kohen Gadol. Great. Hari Mashiach Kitziva. Nasi. How do you know the Nasi? Yov mitzvahs. I learned the Nasi from the Tzibur. Ksiv Nasi v'asach. Yov mitzvahs. Ksiv Gabi Nasi v'asach achas mikol mitzvahs Hashem. Uksiv Tzibur v'asach achas mikol mitzvahs. Ma Tzibur dover she's done in Karas v'shikos. How do I know that Tzibur is done in Karas v'shikos chatos? All the way in the bottom from Alel. I'm not saying that she's done in Karas v'shikos chatos. Okay, so I'm going to add here. Oh, I just added all these things. Okay, good. Nasi, Mashiach, a Yachid. Yachid, I don't know Yachid. That you need is Dori Karish Shigaz Chat. Amkra, V'im Nefesh. Yimatachtim Elyon. I don't know if I have it. I do have it somewhere. Here. Look, very simple. It says, Asher Nasi, that's the Elyon. It's on top. V'im Nefesh. Vav is Moisef Alinyan Rishon always. The Vav is a continuation. V'im Nefesh, Achim Shgaga. Me'amar. What's Amaret? A Yachid. So I'm going to learn the bottom, the Amaretz, the Yachid, Me'elyon from the top. Now, let's go back to this chart for a second. I just learned all these things here. Now take a look. If I remove the Alel, what happens? The whole thing doesn't start. Okay. So that's what the Gemara is best I'm going to ask later. I just wanted to do it now when we're learning this piece so we remember what the Alel was all about. The Gemara is just going to say it later, so remember. Okay. And Avodah Zarah also you need a psak from the Bezdin that you're permitted to do the certain Avodah Zarah, and it has to be Zdoni Kares v'Shigiyot Sechatos. How do I know about Avodah Zarah? Because it's its own pasuk Avodah Zarah. Maybe I don't need Kares. Maybe even hugging and kissing in Avodah Zarah, you bring a parallel davar. Nemer ka me'enei, it says by Avodah Zarah the word me'enei, me'enei, it says by parallel davar me'enei. That's Gzeir Shava, it says me'enei me'enei. So whatever I know by parallel davar, I'm going to bring to Avodah Zarah. Just like by parallel davar, we just established the whole sugya. Allah teaches us that it has to be something that if you do it deliberately, you get karas. I know the whole community. How do I know the three? Here, this one, remember? Achas, all the nefashis, Nasi, Yachid, and Mashiach. You see what I'm talking about? It's simple limudim, things that we already had most of the time. Chazara, v'yilma tachtoy min elyon. I learned Avodah Zarah v'yachid from the Avodah Zarah of the Rabbim. Let me see if I have it over here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is Gishmak. According to the Manda Omar that uses the word Alel for the Gzeir Shava that we learned that you need to have deliberate kares. If you do deliberate, you get kares. If you do it by mistake, you have to bring a carbon. That's the whole parsha of parallel davar. How do I learn it from the word Alel? So everything makes sense. Once I know that the tzibur has to be so then I can learn other things, the Mashiach, the Kohen Gadol, the Yachid, everything. Oh, I'm going to show you what that means. So once I remove the bottom block, the whole thing falls. So I don't know anything. Once I don't have the word aleh. It's not available for me to learn. Why is it not available? Oh, because there's something called yibum. Let's repeat. In case this is your first time doing daf. First of all, I have to preface this by saying, leading up to Yavamas, everybody said Yavamas, such a difficult Masechta, and it's not a difficult Masechta, but you have to be good at. You don't have to be good, but typically you have to say, my father's sister-in-laws married his cousin, something like this. Okay, like in certain cases. Now we brought it down into once you have the art and you have the animation, and so it's a lot simpler. So leading up to Yavamas, I wanted to do something new. We were doing, up until then, I was holding these pieces of paper and holding it like this, and the guys over here say, I can't see. They go like this, and Yosef Biliak would scream, he can't see. And we go like that. Remember Yosef? Constantly so we gotta go to the screen. If it's on a screen, so I don't have to hold it, and I could push a button and it could. So I went to a guy here in the neighborhood, and he taught me about this program, and you have to go like this. Last minute, I switched it out, Baruch Hashem. I didn't listen to him, he was very upset at me. I don't think he talks to me anymore. Switched it out to PowerPoint. But I wasn't good at it, it wasn't efficient, I didn't really know how to use it. It was mamish all the way in the beginning. All I'm trying to say is that Yavamas Daf Beis, terrible shear. Disaster. We were calling, the names of the characters. The names were confusing. And what was it? What do we call them?
The names of the brothers.
No,
it was your names.
Reuven Kitz is disaster. So, if anybody just came day one to MDY for Yavamas Daf Beis,
they didn't make it to Gimel.
They did not make it to Gimel. And many people that were in MDY for years and watched Daf Beis, they didn't make it to Gimel. They dropped off there. I met a lot of people that told me over the years, and it's interesting, I would say it's 50-50. I met a lot of people that fell off in Masechtas Yavamas, and I met a lot of people that joined MDY in Masechtas Yavamas because they felt that the animations is what helped them. It's very interesting. Be'ezer Hashem, next time we're going to do Tshuva Gemura. One of my mistakes was that I try to go through all 15 cases in the Mishnah, and each case is a very long. Next time we don't have to. We have to do one case like this, and just read the Mishnah, and then the rest of the cases just come throughout the parak. Anyway, so here's the Yibum Rabbi. So we have two the Baldwin brothers, they were called, and then Dr. Factor was Baldwin brothers. Dr. Factor was one of them, but he grew hair since then. Here's Avi and two brothers. One of the brothers is married to the five-towner. Remember, that was a very popular character back in the day. All the shopping bags and everything, five-towner we call it. Today, if we had to do it over, we call her Tom's River. Things have changed. So, I'm not joking. Most of the nicer stores these days are in the Lakewood area. Fine. Yeah, Lamaisa, we're not going to do this next time, but once it's there, it's there. One of the brothers goes bye-bye. So the brother-in-law typically is also for him to marry his sister-in-law. He has a chiyuv either to marry her or to do chalitza, in order for them to have a child that will be called on the name of the one who passed away. Here's what's a very interesting case. This is called Tsars. This is the whole first, this right here is 101 in Yavamas. So you have two brothers, same story. But brother number one has a daughter. This Cheverman over here that married the five-towner, he decides to marry his niece. In the time of the Gemara, that was super popular and actually very, very much recommended. The Gemara always talks about how the uncle takes good care of his niece and that he loves her, and even if she was mizana, he's mechapa on her, the Gemara says. Good relationship, and it's mutter. So he marries his niece. Now, here's the big problem. Not only does he marry his niece, he marries, this is a girl that went to, she was in Chazik in Eretz Yisrael, girl. Sheitel Zasser, the whole thing. And then this guy, the guy goes bye-bye. So now we have a big problem. Because now the brother is supposed to marry his sister-in-law. The problem is his sister-in-law, one of them is his own daughter. Here we go. They both fault him liyibum, let's say. One of them is called an erva, his daughter. He cannot marry that we understand he cannot marry his daughter. Could he marry the second wife? And the answer is no, because she's called a tzara. Because since that other wife was in the same marriage with his own daughter, the two of them become asr to him. Not only are they asr to him, he doesn't even perform a chalitza, nothing. They go and they get married to other people. How do I know this? From the word alel. So Rabbanan, who learned this whole concept, is this simple enough? Would anybody fall off in Yavamis from Daf Beis? Okay, we didn't have this. The guys weren't dying until I developed this thing that he falls over and turns different colors, and I didn't have Yoshi then. That's a whole different word. Yoshi made the characters, but he didn't work for us then. He wasn't part of MDY. Oh yeah, I think he worked for us in the beginning, and then he got another job. It was a whole. He came back after Yavamis. He came back like by Nadarim, I think.
Show the girls' faces.
Guy's back. Avi Factor. We're waiting for Shabbos. We missed you there. You couldn't afford it? I know your finances. Do you want me to go through them? Dr. Factor, you fly around the world bringing what? So you should have said something. Come to me. I would have putting you on a payment plan. A guy like you, we need there. Okay. Anyway, next time we'll talk about it different. Write me an email afterwards. So if the leha is not available, because I just learned this whole beautiful thing of tzara. Shamalei, what's your name? You're from?
From California.
Ooh, you're new here? Sorry for making you jump around seats. Did you understand this whole thing of tzara? I don't want to put you on the spot. You understand? You were able to repeat it if I asked you to?
I think so.
You want to try?
Yeah, there were two brothers, and then one of them had a daughter.
Yeah.
And then the uncle got married to his niece.
Yeah.
And the uncle also got married to like a different girl.
Excellent.
And then he died.
Yeah.
And then his brother can't marry either of the wives.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No, you make me feel really good, because now I know that I can go into Yavamis and I can teach Yavamis. And how old are you?
13.
You're 13. A 13-year-old understood it, and he repeated it without fumbling, mumbling. Unbelievable. You should know, a guy came over to the Shabbaton and said, when that boy over here, that 11-year-old, repeated that whole, it was a complicated sugi, he says it gave him a lot of chizuk, like it inspired us. Look, the kid was able to do it. I need to get my act together. So all you guys watching, and you didn't get this whole tzara, the Yavamis thing, here's the 13-year-old nailed it like that. It's unbelievable. Come more often. Come every day. Oh, so how do I know this idea of kares and shkatos? It has to be only that type of air. I lost the word alel. Because with the Master Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Lebrei, by the white lines, Rabbi Yeshua taught his son. Torah achas yelechem loisiv shgaga. There's one Torah, one halacha for everybody that does it by mistake. V'hanefesh ashetasi b'yod rama. That's referring to Avodah Zarah. How do I know it's referring to Avodah Zarah? It doesn't mention the word Avodah Zarah. The Gemara is going to tell us. But the next pasuk says v'hanefesh ashetasi b'yod rama is referring to Avodah Zarah. It says Torah achas, the whole Torah is one. So there's one halacha for the entire Torah. But the Zara, it's an Aveira, it's an Avodah Zarah that's kares. And if you do it by mistake, chatos. The whole Torah, the same thing. Okay, so I know those three, Yachid Nasi Mashiach. I know by Avodah Zarah. I know the whole Torah. What about the community, the tzibur? Yolef Elyoy mitachtoin. Check this out. Elyoy mitachtoin just told Yoshi just to do like a two-floor thing. So there's an Elyon and a tachtoin. The Elyon, the top pasuk, the pasuk of Beis is above pasuk of Zayin. In the Torah, when you're looking at the Torah, pasuk of Beis comes before Chav Zayin, so it's above. You're holding the Dung Hagba. It's above. Chav Beis is above Chav Zayin. Chav Beis is talking about parallel davar. The lower pasuk is talking about Avodah Zarah. And maybe I learn one from the other. Rebbe who learns allow. So what does he do about nefesh shetas b'yod rama? That the whole Torah is a hekesh. What do I do with it? He learned something else. When a large part of Klal Yisrael, the majority of Klal Yisrael does Avodah Zarah, what happens to them? Two halachas. First of all, they get something like this. They get their head chopped off. The other thing is, Maimanim Palat, Avad, Maimanim Avad, you have to destroy all their belongings. You can't benefit from any of their belongings. Rav B'Sayev, you have a rabbin. But when it comes to an individual, he gets a different type of death penalty. You push him off the house over there, the skila. Then you're allowed to use his money. Perhaps they should have different karbanas. What's different? What would you say? What kind of carbon would be different? So we're going to have to go through it to understand what carbon. Oh, that's what Rebbe does with it. There's one Torah. It's one halacha. They bring one type of carbon. Interesting. Just want to point this out. I'm not saying this is MS, but I looked it up this morning. Chilkia Mahagrunya is not brought anywhere else in Shas besides over here, and one other place that repeats this Gemara. In other words, he's brought that one time in Shas. And a lot of times, the name reflects what he says. A lot of times. And over here it says Chilkia and it says Cholak. Just throwing it out. I'm not saying it's MS. He's asking a question. Okay, the Torah said it should be one carbon, but let's say it's not the same carbon. But if it was different, have amino nachle. The tzibur should bring another type of carbon. My nasi. Explain to me what exactly should they bring. So look what Yoshi did here. You have a basket with all the types of carbonas, right? How come there's no camel in there? Because the camel is not a carbon. Any available type of carbon is in the basket. So Gemara says, so let me ask you, what should he bring? Nasi par, boom. One of them in the basket is a par. Should bring a par. Tzibur shar mitzvahs is the maisi. It's not different. It's already something that the tzibur brings somewhere else. By the parallel davar. Nasi par lo lo b'sar l'chatas. Okay, so maybe you should bring two. Here, you see two on the chart. A par lo lo b'sar l'chatas. Tzibur avis kechavim l'maisi. No, tzibur brings the same thing. By avis kechavim. Nasi sar. They should bring a male goat. No, it's not different. The Nasi brings it. Nasi Siras, they bring a female goat. Yochanami Korbanai. Here, so that we just used up everything from the basket. You want me to bring a female goat? It's something that we use by an individual. Oh, so what is the Gemara asking? You should bring something special. What? Oh. So Yoshi I think he reversed it over here, but Bekitzer, the idea is don't even look what it says because it's the opposite. But the point is, the tzibur brings the bull for oila, and the goat as a chatos flip it and bring the goat for an oila. Bring the goat as an oila and the bull for a chatos. You're right. I don't know what to bring, but it should be something else. Kamash Malon. When we said by the wide line, the first wide line, we said, oh, it's referring to Avodah Zarah, but it doesn't say anything in the pasuk about Avodah Zarah. How do you know it's Avodah Zarah? My mashma. So there's always a machlekes in Rashi or what does kedi mean? Kedi could be the name of a person. Kedi could mean anonymous, like I don't know who he is. Stop. What mitzvah equals all the mitzvahs in the Torah? In other words, what avera is worse than all the averas in the Torah? There's something interesting. What other mitzvahs in the Torah are shakal keneged kol haTorah kula? What other mitzvahs? Tzitzis. Talmud Torah, obviously. What else? Shabbos. What else? Who said that? Oh, the guy with the kibbutz ruga. Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. You're right. You're right. What else? Mila. Kiddush Hashem. So Rabbi said, check it out. Right now, we have 5 out of the 7. We're in Eretz Yisrael. We're learning Torah, making a Kiddush Hashem, of course. Most of us have a bris milah. And what else? And we're wearing tzitzis. I see somebody turning, looking the other way. He's going to start. When he does a siyum and a shnayim mikra v'echatarim of the whole Torah, he can start wearing tzitzis. We're going to come off the helicopter with tzitzis. Chaylas. Weiter. Sag the Gemara. The Bei Rebbe Tano Makorah Shedibar Hashem al Moshe Uchsiv Asher Tziva Hashem Aleichem Biyad Moshe. So this is interesting. Ezi mitzvah, no, you're going to like this. Ezi mitzvah she b'dibura shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'tziva yidei Moshe. What mitzvah was given by Hashem, said by Hashem, and also Moshe? Havi Yomi Zu Avedis Kechavim. That's Avedis Zara, the Torah Rishmal. Anoichi v'lo yelecha. We all know Mipi Agvura Shamanum. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said it with his own mouth, and what happened was Klal Yisrael couldn't do it. They couldn't stand it. They couldn't withstand, I should say, Hashem's talking to them. They couldn't. So he stopped. Then Moshe Rabbeinu said it. So what's Pshat? Hashem said it and Moshe Rabbeinu said it. Hashem said Anoichi. You shouldn't have another God. V'lo yelecha. The Pshat is, says Rashi, Hashem said it, yes, but then Moshe repeated it many times throughout the Torah. You shouldn't have a vizar, you shouldn't have a vizar. So that's considered, what's the one thing that Hashem said, but also Moshe Rabbeinu said? The rest Moshe Rabbeinu said. But here, Hashem said it also. The Bei Reb Shmuel Tana. So Mela, I know those psukim are talking about Avodah Zarah. The Bei Reb Shmuel Tana. What's the first Aveira Hashem ever said? Ask the Gemara, but it's not true. It's not the first Aveira Hashem said. Hashem said 10 things at Mara before Avodah Zarah. Says the Gemara, we have to go back to the other two rules we had here. All these things over here that what? Mitzvah the shakal kol mitzvahs. That Hashem said it first, and then Moshe Rabbeinu said it. Turning to the Daf, Adar Global, Specialists in International Financial Services, Anonymous. Anonymous. He grabbed to Rebelli and MDY for promoting Achdus Yisrael and Ahavas Yisrael. The Ilu Nishmas Imi Murosi Ruslas Mordechai. The Amud Beis by the Mishnah. In Chayovim Alasei Va'loisasei Sheba Migdosh. So, if this happens in the Beis HaMikdash, there's a mitzvah say here. Check this out. If a kohen, let's say, touches a sheretz, stepping on a sheretz over here, what's the halacha? He must leave immediately. Oh, where's the drone thing? Whatever. Yesterday, Dave showed a drone. I thought it was in there, but he's not. He forgot to leave it in there. Okay, lo mishaneh. There's a mitzvah say leave. And there's a mitzvah, there's a lois that say, do not go into the Beis HaMikdash if you are tamei. Now, that halacha of going in and out of the Beis HaMikdash is what happens if you do. You have to bring a carbon oil v'yared. There's an up and a down, meaning here. There's an up and a down, like a bungee jump, but not really. It's either if you're wealthy you bring a sheep, if you're medium you bring birds, and if not you bring flour. It's oil v'yared. He did it oil v'yared. Fine. So since it's oil v'yared, that doesn't apply to the oil v'yared in the Beis HaMikdash. It doesn't apply to Helam Davar. Helam Davar, this idea that the Bezdin, they made a mistake and they said, oh, you could stay in the Beis HaMikdash if you touch a mouse. Since it's oil v'yared, it depends how wealthy you are. They don't bring a par Helam Davar. And you don't bring a Hashem Tali. Again, if I don't know for sure, if I walked in, did I touch the mouse or not, I'm going to bring a Hashem Tali. No. If the Bezin Paskin that you don't have to, and you do have to, you don't bring a Hashem Tali. But if they pass in by Nida, then there would be a parallel davar. And there's Hashem Tali on Asay and Aleis Nida. What does it mean? If you anticipate that the woman is going to become a Nida that time of the month, so there's an Isser to be with her even before she's a Nida. So if they made a mistake in that halacha, they said, don't, do, it's not a problem. They don't have to bring. They do have to bring a parallel davar. There is a chi of parallel davar on Asay and Leisas Shvenida. What's a mitzvah Leisas say? Al tabi ala nida. Don't have relations with a nida. Says the Gemara, the tzibur le'michavi korban ba'alma. How do I know that the community, the tzibur in general, when it comes to oil v'yared, there's no chi of parallel davar? V'yachda Hashem tali nami loy. Or Rabbi Yisrael Avdimi nemar v'oshem, because the words are similar. V'oshem b'chatas u'b'ashem tali. It says here we have a whole thing going on here. the sugya illustrated. It says the word by a yachid, by Hashem Tali, it says va'ashem, and by tzibur it says va'ashemu, which is very similar, almost the same. It's the same word, just plural, because we're talking about tzibur, so it's the same. Ma va'ashem biyachid b'chatas kfua. When we're talking about an individual, it's not a oil v'yared. It's everybody has to bring the same exact chatos, whether you're wealthy or poor. So too, when the community brings a carbon paral davar, it has to be something set like a par and not oil v'yared. The tzibur does not have a asham talui. Af asham talui nami savik chatas kvua. So too, by asham talui, there's no. It has to be something kavua and not oil v'yared. Armi hachi carbon oil v'yared nami haksiv v'hayok yesham lachas meila. So wait a minute. Why are you learning the tzibur from the yachid? Learn the tzibur from the carbon oil v'yared. They should bring a carbon oil v'yared. Why? Because by the carbon oil v'yared on the left it says the word yesham. It's the same. Isn't it the same as v'ashem? V'ashemu slicha. So the Gemara says, "Danin ashem min ashemu, ve'in danin ashem min yesham." It's different. It's much better to learn ashem v'ashemu than yesham. Bring in a new, a similar word, but not the same. So the Gemara says, throughout Shas we have the same question, same answer. There's no difference here. This is a lot worse. Yesham and ashem is almost the same word. It's a different nikuda underneath the shin. Instead of a patach, it says what is it called? A chirik, not a chirik. No, tzera. Segel is 3. So v'shavak, I went to American school, so that v'shavak koyin u'ba koyin. But even the word shav and ba could be learned as a gzer shav. I could learn halachas from the koyin going to see the Mitzayra. V'shavak koyin, he returns u'ba koyin, and he comes to the house. It's the same word. The Gemara always says. Huh? Oh, that's what I said last night in Shir. The Gemara says even better, I think. I don't know. They don't talk about it. Usually, the Gemara says if you don't have choice, then you could use 2 similar words. But over here we have a choice. So Hashem, good kasha. I don't know. I didn't see anybody talk about it. I didn't really look a lot. I just think the answer is simpler, that we have a better answer. Check this out. You want the same word? Here, I give you the same word. Ashem and Ashem. It's actually even better. No, it's the same. I'm trying to learn tzibur from Yachid. No, learn tzibur to Tumas Migdash. And over there, what? There's oil of Yared. How do I know that by tzibur there's no oil of Yared? Check this out. When I'm learning the tzibur from the Yachid, there's actually another word. It's not just the word Vashem. It's by both of them it says the word mitzvah Hashem. Oh, so it wins. As the Gemara, here, by Karban there's another word here. It says Vashem and the Siyas Avain. And by the tzibur it says Vashem and the Siyas Avain. So I have 2 words. Why learn mitzvah Hashem? It's 2 and 2. I could learn from the left. Also 2 words. Oh, and finally the Gemara says, it's 3 words. Check this out. It says Vashemu, it says Mr. Hashem, it says Shelo Yisoseno. And by Yachid it says Vashem, Mr. Hashem, Shelo Yisoseno. So it's 3. If I'm going to learn this one from Karban Yar, it's only 2. Only 2 words are similar. Over here I have 3 words that are similar. Maybe I learn from there. Don't learn the carbon of the earth. Shmias Koil will be the Susayim. To Mismigdash Kedash, Nemer Bahem, Vashem, Umiz Hashem, Ashel Sen. Over there, you don't have the 3 words, only 2. So maybe I don't learn from them. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.